Good day, horror fans. Welcome to the first video in my series of horror movie reviews. Today, I'll be reviewing the 2015 horror movie from M. Night Shyamalan called The Visit. If you haven't seen it, I will be sharing spoilers, so click away right now. First off, this wasn't a movie I went into with much hope. Despite reading positive reviews, I have not been much of a fan of M. Night Shyamalan's recent work. I wasn't impressed with Signs, The Village, Lady in the Water, or anything since probably Unbreakable. But I decided I would give this a try because of the reviews. I, however, was not disappointed. The plot is fairly basic. Two children, 13 and 15, of a single mother, who is just getting over her husband cheating on her and running off with a younger woman, travel by themselves to see their grandparents for what will be a week's vacation. What makes this slightly different is that the children have never actually met the grandparents before due to a fight their mother had with them when she was younger. The girl, Becca, who we found out is 15, wants to make this whole adventure into a documentary to hopefully give her mother closure and help them reconcile their differences. From the get-go, things seem slightly odd, especially at night, when the grandfather tells the children they need to be in bed by 9:30 p.m. and not leave their room. When they do, they find their grandmother to be sick, among other things. It soon turns out that the parents are acting quite weird and seem to both be suffering from serious illnesses. As the suspense builds through things like finding out that the grandparents will not speak about what happened with the children's mother, the grandfather attacking a stranger because he thought he was being followed, and people coming to the house asking why they haven't been showing up for their volunteering shifts. Eventually, the kids leave a camera downstairs and find out that the grandmother is completely insane. As they prepare to leave, they Skype with their mother, who sees the grandparents for the first time and reveals that they aren't her parents. It turns out they are escaped patients that the real grandparents used to volunteer counsel. The patients broke free and murdered the real grandparents and posed as them in order to fulfill a desire to be grandparents once again. Eventually, the cops show up and it's revealed that the mother and her real parents had a fist fight and never spoke again. And it's a solid ending to a solid film. So, okay, on to my review. The movie uses the mockumentary genre and actually does a fairly decent job. They establish that the girl really wants to find out what she calls the elixir in order to help bring closure for her mother. Her little brother is kind of an outcast and an aspiring rapper who is also a germaphobe. Those are good things, but I think the first place the movie does is lacking character building. Like, it moves so quickly, you only get a bit of exposition and explanation. And most of this comes as due to the father leaving. Most of the issues, like the girl not looking in the mirror, or the brother's germophobia, is only referenced once or twice, and always referenced in relation to the father leaving. As far as the germophobia, which is supposed to be a big plot point, is only referenced 3 times. Once at the beginning on the train, once close to the end, and once right at the end. I do think that it gives strong motivations for the girl Becca, but her brother Tyler, well, it seems like he was kind of an afterthought in the long run. Like, they only have him in there for lighthearted humor and for Becca to be protective over, and to not listen to when he figures out the grandparents are acting weird. The movie does build suspense throughout with some good interactions between all 4 characters. I found that this movie did the creep vibe / suspense vibe pretty well. Like, from the outset, you're pretty sure something's weird, but you're not sure what. It uses that to create more of an atmospheric horror than something reliant on jump scares. But don't worry, there are jump scares, and there are a couple good ones. When they leave the camera out at night to see what's going on downstairs, and the grandmother slithers around and then eventually goes out of sight before quickly popping up in front of the camera, that gave me a good jump and added to the horror instead of detracting from it. I also like that the story continuity remained, like the grandparents are mental patrons with what seems to be some form of dementia, and even at the end, after the reveal, they both retain their illnesses and they don't fall into the all-cured trap many horror movies do. I was also fond of the camera work in this one. They didn't overuse visuals, and they did give the feeling that both Becca and Tyler were quite amateur as far as filmmakers go. I also felt the documentary was a good part of this and really helped the movie feel real, especially seeing Becca look at her previously shot footage on her laptop and have an actual editing program open. I found that kept me invested in the idea that she was really trying to be a serious filmmaker. Now I'm on to my biggest issue with this movie, in that it's pretty predictable and also has some serious horror movie sins. The grandmother conveniently spills batter on Becca's computer webcam lens and tries cleaning it, but it won't come off. And then somehow Becca can't get the batter off her webcam either. I've spilled batter on things. I can scratch that off. I don't understand why she couldn't. And this is all convenient to the plot, as that way when the kids Skype with their mother multiple times, the mother cannot see that it's not her real parents. Also, due to this, you automatically assume it's not the real grandparents, and the batter incident happens fairly early on in the movie. So I think it kind of spoils the plot twist in the end, and I don't know, that just kind of ruined it for me. And throughout the movie, the grandparents also do not wish to discuss the children's mother either, which is a great deal. It's like kind of a giveaway for me. Like we later learn it's due to the real grandparents talking about her like quite often during their counseling sessions with these patients, but it's like a dead giveaway. Also, it reuses the scares, like Becca climbing into the oven. She does it twice. Or opening the bedroom door to something strange. I also think this movie didn't give enough time to really shine. Like, if they had maybe added 25 more minutes to the runtime, using that time to like show the grandparents in a positive and not creepy way, it would have made the reveal so much better and a lot harder on the viewer. I find that far too often this movie didn't really paint the grandparents as positives and just showed them as villains from the outset, which made the reveal feel kind of lame, and you didn't really root for the grandparents, and you knew they were evil from the beginning, so now it's just like, okay, what? So, alright friends, so after this movie, while I say you should watch it, and it's not a bad film, it's not a great one either, and has a lot of flaws. I'm going to rate it a 6.5 out of 10, and while it's the best M. Night Shyamalan movie in a while, and had potential, there's a lot that was wrong and needed to be fixed in order to save this. So again, thank you for watching, my friends. If you enjoyed this, like and share the video, and please leave a comment below. And as always, remember to enjoy your fear.